How to get started in leadership. Some people have a clear vision for leadership. There is an organization they desire to create or a task they want to accomplish. They see something and they try to seize it. They start performing a service or creating a product, and if it's successful, they soon need help. When they hire their first employee, they start leading. However, most people move into leadership differently. They find themselves in a situation where someone asks them to lead something, at work, in their community, or at church, and they agree to take on the responsibility. Or they help to give direction to a project or task because no one else is doing it, or because the person in charge is doing it so poorly that they worry it will fail. So they take charge and organize it themselves, hoping to see it succeed. How you come into a leadership role matters less than how you handle it. And the key question you need to ask yourself is, why do I want to lead? If you want to help other people, your team, and your organization, you're starting off on the right foot. If your desire is to fulfill a worthy vision, one that will help people and make the world a better place, you're headed in the right direction. If you're doing it to add value to others and not just yourself, you are seeking to be a leader for the right reason. And it is your duty to become the best leader you can possibly be. How can a young leader get buy-in when he doesn't yet have a track record of success? I've known a lot of young leaders who are very eager to share their vision and want to know why everyone doesn't immediately jump in to help them accomplish it. Until you have credibility, don't even try to get buy-in for your vision. You won't get it. You need to earn trust before people will buy in, and you must earn it through character and competence. When you take on a new leadership position, how much temporary trust you receive will depend on many things. The culture of the organization. The credibility of your predecessor. The influence of the people who put you into place. If the environment and the culture are negative, people may assume that you won't be a good leader and give you very little grace. In a more positive environment, people may be open to you and willing to give you the benefit of the doubt for as long as 6 months. During that time, what you say will hold more weight than who you are. But everyone will be watching to see if what you say and what you do line up. If you have demonstrated character and competence, your credibility will keep gaining more weight until who you are eventually has greater influence than what you say. As people's trust grows, so will your influence. To demonstrate competence as you start in leadership, begin with the basics. Work hard, there is no substitute for a good work ethic. People respect someone who works hard. Think ahead, because your decisions affect your team, beginning with the end in mind and identifying priorities are doubly important. Demonstrate excellence, the better you are at your job, the higher your initial credibility. Follow through, good leaders bring things to completion. To communicate character to team members in a short time, do the following. Care about the people you lead. Anytime new leaders arrive on the scene, the people on the team ask 3 things. Do they care for me? Can they help me? Can I trust them? If you care about people and show it, they will be able to see your good character. Make things right, because new leaders want to impress their people, they sometimes try to hide their mistakes. That is the opposite of what they should do. When decisions don't turn out the way they were intended to, leaders owe their followers an explanation and an apology. That may feel painful in the moment, but it will develop character credibility. If they can also make amends for the mistake, that will be even better. Tell the truth. When there is consistency between the words and actions of leaders, followers know that leaders can be trusted. Honesty adds integrity to the vision and credibility to the vision caster. In the long run, people appreciate truth, even hard truth. If you put in the slow hard work of developing credibility through character and competence, you will begin to earn trust. The more trust you gain, the more potential influence you'll have. When the team wins, you gain further credibility. When you make a mistake or the team fails, it costs. Your goal is to earn so much credibility that people buy into your leadership and never lose faith in you, because if they do, you've lost credibility with the organization. How do you determine your leadership potential? I believe that nearly everyone has the potential to lead. Maybe not everyone can become a great leader, but everyone can become a better leader. You need to examine 4 areas to get a sense of whether it is time for you to step up and lead. 1. Pay attention to the need you see. Leadership begins with a need, not when someone wants to fill an empty leadership position. Sometimes people see a need and it sparks something within them, a passion. There are many needs in this world. Are there some that strike a chord in you? If you see a need that you feel a strong desire to address, and it moves you to action, that is a sign that you have the potential to lead in that area. 2. Use your natural abilities to help others. When the desire to address a need intersects with an ability to do something about it, sparks begin to fly. When the ability of the leader perfectly fits the need of the moment, the results can be extraordinary. You have gifts, talents, and skills that you can use to help people. It is your responsibility to learn what those abilities are and develop them. If you're not sure what they are, ask others who know you well. In addition, look at the areas where you are naturally intuitive, productive, satisfied, and influential. We tend to lead naturally in areas where we are gifted. We also add the most value when we work in those areas. Once you've discovered and developed your abilities, put them to use to help your team. 3. Make the most of your passion. When you begin helping others in an area that you believe is important, you may find the passion rising in you. That's a positive sign. Passion in a leader is compelling to others. People want to follow passionate leaders. It makes them want to jump on board and join them. If you are new to leadership, tap into your passion and fuel it. If you're not new to leadership, make sure you don't lose your passion. A cold leader never inspired anyone to a cause. A red-hot leader inspires nearly everyone. 4. Develop your influence. The bottom line on leadership is that it's influence. If you want to lead, you must persuade people to work with you. People who think they're leading but have no one following them are only taking a walk. If you focus your attention on a need that speaks to your heart, make the most of your abilities, tap into your passion, and develop influence, you can become a leader. And you will be able to make a difference in the world. How can I discover my unique purpose as a leader? I think all people desire to find the thing for which they would die, because that points them to their purpose. And I think everyone has the potential to discover it. That's especially important for leaders, because their purpose affects the lives of not only themselves, but also of other people. But discovering your purpose takes time. First you need to know yourself. Your unique purpose must be built on your strengths. Discover your strengths and you have the opportunity to discover your purpose. Don't learn what they are, and you have very little chance of living out your purpose. You can learn a lot from self-evaluation tools, such as StrengthsFinder, but some things you will learn only through trial and error. Every success and every failure can bring you another step closer to knowledge of yourself. Once you discover your strengths, you must intentionally increase your time using them. That's when you will likely begin seeing themes emerge in your life. Your goals are to sharpen your skills and to increasingly target your work toward your strengths until you home in on the thing that makes you say, I was born to do this. What really matters to you? If you're having a difficult time finding your purpose or setting direction for your leadership, ask yourself, what makes me sing? Your answer reveals what brings you joy. What makes me cry? Your answer reveals what touches your heart. What makes me dream? Your answer reveals what sparks your imagination. What makes me excel? Your answer reveals your strengths. What makes me different? Your answer reveals your uniqueness. The more of these questions you can answer, the greater the number of clues you'll have to help you reveal your purpose as a leader. It takes time to learn about yourself, but it also takes effort to remain true to yourself. People will ask you to depart from the path that's right for you. But the better you know yourself and the truer you are to yourself, the greater your success will be as a leader. It is said that to be a good leader you must first be a good follower. Does this maxim hold true at all times? If so, at what point does a follower become a leader? This question reveals a common misconception about leading and following. It assumes that it's either or. It's not. It's both all the time. Nobody does only one or the other. It's an interplay that leaders must navigate from moment to moment. In many situations I take the lead. I cast vision and set direction for my organizations. But often I become the follower when deferring to the expertise of people in my organization. Watch the interplay of people during a meeting. In a healthy environment, different people take the lead based on the situation and the skills needed in the moment. Only egotistical leaders believe they must lead in any and every situation. The best leaders know what it's like to follow and have learned how to do it. And they are willing to learn how to follow well before trying to lead. Good followers add value to an organization. They focus well and do their best to make their team and organization better. They strive for excellence in their work. They spot problems and volunteer to fix them. And they champion new ideas. Successful followership is a learned skill, just as leadership is. If you want to be a good leader, understand following, and never forget what it's like to sit in the follower's chair. I'm a bit introverted. How can I accept my personality, yet blossom in connecting with others? Because so much of leadership is about working with people, it can be more difficult for some introverts to get started. Lead ing. But that doesn't mean that introverts can't lead. They have led well in every industry and area of life. You don't need to be an extrovert to lead others. However, you may at times have to be more outgoing than you would naturally like to be. You should not try to change your personality to become a better leader. That will only make you come across as phony. You just need to become your best self by focusing on your gifts and maximizing the best qualities of your temperament. For example, let's look at the two classic introverted temperaments, phlegmatic and melancholic. Phlegmatics are known for their steadiness and their ability as peacemakers. If you're phlegmatic, tap into those qualities to give your team security and stability, and then get people to work together. Melancholics are known for their thinking ability, their creativity, and their attention to detail. If you're melancholic, make the most of those qualities by planning and strategizing. In addition to using your strengths, you do need to make a deliberate and continuous effort to connect with people. To do that, 1. Understand the value of connecting with others. Few things are more important to the leader-follower relationship than connection. If you want to connect with people, never forget how important it is, and work at it every day. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It may sound corny, but it is true. 2. Connect with others using your strengths. Use your personal strengths to build rapport and relationships with people. I rely on 5 qualities every day when working with people, whether one-on-one, in a meeting, or on stage. Humor. I enjoy a good laugh and I don't mind being the butt of the joke. Authenticity. I am myself in all situations, and I don't teach anything I don't live or believe. Confidence. I feel good about myself and I believe strongly in people. Hope. I naturally lift up and encourage people, and I love to do it. Simplicity. I'm pragmatic, not intellectual. I don't try to impress people with big words or complex sentences. I want to connect with people, so I keep it simple. I don't know what your strengths are, but you have some. What are your top 5? Are you using them? Have you found a way to make who you are work for you? Leading different personalities. Each personality type has its own strengths. Which one are you? The most natural leaders, choleric. The most loyal leaders, phlegmatic. The most gifted leaders, melancholic. The most loved leaders, sanguine. Make the most of your personality type. 3. Ask good leaders to give you feedback. If you want to learn how to make the most of your strengths and leverage the best traits of your personality type, seek out feedback from other leaders. People who are not good at leadership and communication may be able to tell when you aren't connecting, but only good connectors can tell you why. And only by being yourself and building on your strengths can you become a better leader. What advice would you give to an aspiring leader trying to take the first steps into leadership? My best piece of advice would be to try to take the long view of leadership. When you're young, people don't think you're very good. And they don't give you much credit. But if you work hard, learn how to connect with people, develop credibility, and prove yourself every day, after a while people will begin to believe in you. You will have influence, and you will be able to get things done. And here's what's really ironic. Lead well for long enough, and people will shift from giving you no credit, to giving you proper credit, to giving you too much credit. Today, people think I'm better than I actually am. So try not to worry too much about what people think about you. Do your best. Work hard. Keep growing. And eventually you'll be able to make a positive impact as a leader. What's the first thing a leader should do when brought in from the outside? Whenever you take on the responsibility to lead a new team, it's a challenge, whether you are an experienced leader or a novice. But I believe there are 5 things you can do to get off on the right foot and set up the team for success. 1. Strengthen relationships. The quickest way to build relationships is to try to get to know and understand each person on your team. To understand the mind of an individual, look at what that person has already achieved. To understand the heart of a person, look at what he or she aspires to do. If you have a handle on people's history and aspirations, you've gone a long way to getting to know them. 2. Earn people's trust. You cannot lead a team if you do not have the team members' trust. It's always important for a leader to be trustworthy, but it's crucial when you're starting out in the role. Be honest and do what you say you're going to do, and people will gradually give you more trust. 3. Position team members properly. It is the leader's responsibility to position team members where they add the most value and have the greatest chance for success. Doing that serves them individually as well as helping the team to perform at its best. When you take over a team, if you do nothing other than put each player in his or her strength zone, you will greatly increase the productivity and success of the team. It can make a huge difference in a very short time. 4. Create clear expectations. Another fairly quick way to positively affect a team is to give the entire team as well as each individual player clear expectations when it comes to performance and goals. Not knowing what's expected of us is confusing and demotivating. We all want to have the win defined for us. It's always been my experience that if I expect great things from my people, they'll go to great lengths to keep from disappointing me. Good people always rise to your level of expectation. 5. Determine people's capacity. If you encourage people to strive to go further than they ever have, and you give them the freedom to fail, they will take risks, and you will help them to determine what their true capacity is. That's no small thing. Daniel H. Pink says, "One source of frustration in the workplace is the frequent mismatch between what people must do and what people can do. When what they must do exceeds their capabilities, the result is anxiety. When what they must do falls short of their capabilities, the result is boredom. But when the match is just right, the results can be glorious." How do you find balance between leading others and producing? Leadership can come as the result of a person's being productive. That's often why people are willing to follow you. If you're good at what you do, motivated people want to know why. They want to watch you and learn from you. They're willing to take your direction, because they hope you can make them better. That's where leadership often starts. Let's say you're a highly productive person and others begin to recognize that you're good at what you do, and they start asking for your help, even though you have no official leadership responsibilities yet. What do? Helping others will take your time. It may reduce your productivity. Will you help them, even though it becomes more difficult for you to take care of your own responsibilities and get your work done? Many people don't want to be bothered. But let's say you love what you do and you desire to help people, so you give them some of your time and pick up the slack by working either longer or smarter. During this season you're probably going to be spending 90% of your time producing and only 10% leading. If you work in an organization that recognizes and rewards producers who help the team, you will probably be given some leadership responsibilities. However, you may receive those on top of your other responsibilities. And this will almost certainly be true if you are an entrepreneur or self-employed. This is where you need to begin learning how to manage producing and leading. Maybe the balance shifts from 90-10 to 80-20. At this point, two things become critical: priorities and delegation. At some point you will run out of hours in your day and days in your week. You will have to stop doing some things and start delegating others. To start figuring out what tasks you can shift, ask yourself these questions. What am I required to do personally? Some tasks cannot be delegated. Ask what must be done that only you can do and that cannot be delegated. These responsibilities must remain high on your priority list. What gives the organization the greatest return? Some of the things you do return great value to the organization because they use your greatest strengths. These are the things in your production zone, and you should never delegate them to someone else. What rewards me personally? There are certain tasks that we simply enjoy doing. If they bring a high return, great. If not, we need to let them go. If you want to be productive, you should try to learn to get joy from what gives the greatest return and discipline yourself to do those things. What reproduces productivity and leadership in others? When most people think of delegation, they focus on the benefit to themselves. They understand that it frees up their time to take on additional responsibilities, like lead ng. And that's good. But there is another benefit of delegating: it allows others to grow in their ability to produce or lead. In the beginning, this can actually take up more of your time. But in the long run, it pays off not only for you but also for the organization and the people you develop. As your leadership ability and responsibilities increase, the balance between the time you spend leading and the time you spend producing will evolve. If you are a great equipper and developer of people, you may get to where you are spending 90% of your time leading and reproducing leaders and only 10% of your time actually producing. However, if at any point you begin to lose credibility with your team or the person you work for, you will need to shift more time and attention back to producing. Productivity is the engine that drives your credibility and leadership. I'm always worried about hurting people's feelings or what they will think of me. What can I do to overcome this and become a strong leader? As long as you're overly concerned about what other people think of you, you won't be able to become a strong leader. I say that because I used to be a people pleaser and I cared too much about what others thought of me. The key to my change was deciding to do what was best, not what was best for me. I had to believe in the cause more than in my comfort. I had to live for a purpose bigger than myself. I had to be willing to take the heat so that I could move people forward. Here's how this works. Believing in the cause creates your conviction. Believing in your vision fuels your inspiration. Believing in your people builds your motivation. Once you possess enough conviction to keep you from worrying about what others think, you will be willing and able to set the standards necessary for you to lead effectively. You must listen to others and consider their thoughts and ideas, but do what's right for the organization and the people according to your personal values and the highest standards. How does an emerging leader establish leadership confidence without affirmation? Confidence makes it possible for leaders to take risks and speak up. It empowers them to go first when they need to. It helps them tackle big problems and overcome failure. Let's face it, leadership is often messy and difficult. Confidence makes it possible for leaders to keep moving forward in spite of this. Confidence also sets individuals apart. Confident people stand out from the crowd. Confident leaders provide certainty to uncertain people and security to insecure people. People migrate to confident leaders. People want to follow others who know where they're going. Their confidence gives the people who follow them confidence. Together they are more likely to overcome adversity. Unfortunately, many young leaders have to function in environments where they receive limited guidance and even less affirmation. Because of that, many leaders must learn to develop confidence on their own. That can be difficult, but it's not impossible. If you desire to improve your leadership confidence, do the following. 1. Spend time with people who give you confidence. Many times we lack confidence because the people we spend the most time with would rather take us down a notch than lift us up. If people in your life make you feel discouraged and tentative, you need to spend less time with them and more time with people who want to see you win and express that to you. 2. Find a way to get a few wins under your belt. Your confidence isn't what it needs to be, and ways to rack up a few wins. Start with easy ones if you need to. For that matter, you can also make a list of past victories to help you develop, or regain, confidence. Even the best of leaders sometimes feel low and need to remember past victories to give them a boost so they can move forward. 3. Quit comparing yourself to others. One of the things most detrimental to people's confidence is comparing themselves to others. If you are not a naturally confident person or you have a glass is half empty type of personality, you will most likely compare your worst to others' best and find yourself lacking. Don't do it. Others are often not as good as we give them credit for, and we are all too aware of our own weaknesses. As a result, the comparison is distorted. Besides, each of us is a unique individual with something to contribute to this world. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on being your best you. 4. Specialize until you're special. If you want to gain confidence, become an expert in something. If you specialize in doing something based on one of your top strengths, you not only add value to your team, you also find it easier to believe in yourself. Develop a valuable skill. Become an expert on your product. Learn everything there is to know about your customers. It can be nearly anything. If it helps the team to succeed and it gives you confidence, it's a win for everybody. There is no one clear path to leadership. There is no simple checklist for becoming a leader. Each person's journey is different. I learned many great lessons in my first leadership position, the most important of which was that leadership has to be earned. Leaders have to grow into their roles, and if the role becomes more demanding, the leader has to keep growing. Leadership is never a right. It's a privilege and a responsibility. But it's one that is open to anyone who's willing to work hard enough to get it.